Hello, everyone. This is Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I hope this works where you guys can hear me okay. This is a man on the street episode. When I get back to my room, I'm going to do a full view of this. But I've just watched a video between Cal and great conversation. Now, the reason I like this, and it provides a counterpoint to the Sam Cedars of the world. Sam, oh my God, why don't you please vote for Hillary Clinton? I work on MSNBC, Cedar. This provides an amazing content to the level of just smugness. Smugness, I've said it that way, condescension. They disagree to some degree. Jimmy Dore is not a Democrat. Good. And in Jimmy Dore not being a Democrat, he essentially asks questions that are skeptical and make all the sense in the world about why doesn't a party that says it represents the worker, the 99%, that has this FD mentality or feel to it philosophically, but essentially are just corporate whores like the other party. Great combo between those two. Now, the interesting part to this is Cal, and I'm going to do a fuller thing when I get back to the room, but Cal provides a counterpoint to the conversation that Jimmy Dore had with Nick Brana. Now, I watched the conversation Jimmy Dore had with Nick Brana. So, I think we need a third party in this country, personally. So, my immediate bias is with Brana on this. It's like, why do you need a new deal? Well, you can make a point that you needed a new deal because the other people sold out. The accountability was nowhere to be found. And when accountability was nowhere to be found, well, you have dollars or pitchforks. Now, Cal provides a counterpoint to Nick Brana essentially making a point that, look, you have two people that got in there before. Just two. And in having those just two, how can you call that success? Now, I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, though. Now, the reason why I don't fully agree with Nick Brana's arguments, even though I understand the overarching thing, Nick Brana has a perspective of trying to create a third party. And creating a third party, you have to give a reason why you need a third party. In trying to give a reason why you need a third party, you try to give a helter-skelter opinion of what's currently taking place, and you try to delegitimize what's there. Because if the argument is made that you need a third party, but you're showing progress in the way that you're going, it blunts this thing of a third party. It's like FDR saying he saved capitalism. That was his greatest feat. Well, how did he save capitalism? He saved capitalism by blunting the edges of the argument of the socialists or the communists. That look at the helter-skelter world to which you're in, look at the financial crisis, the wealth is being attributed all the way to the top. Is this the world that you want, and shouldn't you have a different world? Now, if FDR comes in and he blunts this amelioration of the working class, if he gives some of that wealth back, it's you give some or they'll take it all, well, the argument becomes harder to make. This is kind of the Nick Brana thing. It's similar, for the most part, the same. If Brana can make an argument that, look, you're not making progress in taking over the ship. And in not making progress in taking over the ship, you need a new approach. You need to think about new ways of doing this. If you can make this case that, well, wait a minute, we are making progress in taking over ship, to some degree it tries to blunt the edges of Nick Brana's argument. Cal, what I like about this is Cal makes his case, look, he makes his case, look, I don't care if we go about it from the standpoint of a Green Party. I just want this to work. But we are making progress. He even said at one point, he said the part that annoyed me about Nick Brana is that it doesn't take into consideration progress that we've been making. Because, yeah, it might be two new Democrats that take over, but that doesn't necessarily take into account state houses. For example, in New York, There's a corporate giveaway afoot that was not brought up in the election, as far as I know it, where Amazon is going to get a ton of money. I think it's like almost $1 billion in subsidies and tax breaks. And then on top of that, they're going to give Amazon a new helipad. Think about that. A helipad with taxpayer money. Amazon is one of the most profitable companies in the world. Jeff Bezos has $150 billion, but they're going to give them a helipad. Well, the Democrats that are just taking office have been feeling themselves, and it's possible that they're going to block that deal and try to divert that money into paying down student debt. That's oh, 1.5 billion, I'm sorry. But you get my point. Like, that is a change. This conversation that we're having about Medicare for all, that is a change. And my rule is that you vote for the person who represents your interests. And if a person represents your interests, that's a clean vote. By the same token, you don't vote in corporate hacks. You let corporate hacks lose, or at the very least, make whatever electoral gains they make on their own. Progressives and lefties should in no way add into that. Same thing here. As for what's taking place in Congress right now with Ocasio-Cortez joining the protests, yes, I like the fact that she joins the protests. No, Nancy Pelosi didn't do squat in regards to issuing that letter. Anybody can issue that letter. It's good politics to issue that letter. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do anything about it. $100 million Nancy Pelosi, in no way, I've yet to hear her say anything about Medicare for all. I've yet to hear her say anything about expansion of Social Security. I've yet to hear her say anything about education relief. Those are things that the American public full on agrees with. This is where Nick Brana's point is right. You get no change if there is no accountability. Meaning, if it's this, you could be as lefty as you want to be when you're in opposition. The question becomes, what do you do when you get into office? And up to this point, Democrats are always lefties when they're in the opposition, and it's always nonsense when they get into office. I suspect that the same trend will take place here, especially if you have a corporatist Democrat that gets in office. So I'm extremely skeptical, even though I understand where Cal is coming from. It's a little bit of both from the standpoint of, yes, there are a few bright spots. Well, by the same token, it's the same old Democratic Party. Until there's a situation where they're in power, you can't really see what they do. And I'm done with this thing of just automatically giving credit when nothing is taking place. So yes, I give Cal points on this because Cal did make good points. I would even give them points from the standpoint of the argument. That is, the argument has changed in regards to healthcare and education, all this other stuff. But the leadership of the party, no. On federal level, no. Maybe state houses. But on the other one, not so much. What about the CIA spooks who won as Democrats? No, I agree with you. Cal paints a rosy picture of this, but it's a rosy picture where he's picking data points because he wants to see particular data points. It's cherry picking. What is the leadership of the party talking about? What is the leadership of the party trying to do? That's what this stuff really does boil down to. It's not about what they do when they're out of office, it's what they do when they get in office. That said, I like the conversation that these guys had. I like Cal providing a counterpoint to what Nick Brana was saying. Motorcycles should be outlawed. If it was me, motorcycles would be outlawed. Those things are worthless devices. And they're loud, or at the very least they need to have a muffler on them. It's fucking ridiculous. All right, that said, I thought it was a good conversation. Kyle is not in any way just the Democrat, if that makes sense. If I'm not mistaken, he voted for Jill Stein. Finally, a band I could support, yeah. And Dore is not a Democrat at all. And so it's an interesting conversation for Cal, but Cal is working with Justice Democrats. So he has he's trying to make a picture of, look, you can support, we're in progress, we're trying to break through, we're trying to board the ship, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll go through this a little bit fuller. Yeah, I'll go through this a little bit more when I get back to the room. So I just wanted to point to it just so you guys can take a look at the interview. It was actually a good interview. All right, guys, you have a good one.